Hey guys, good morning. It's Jordan here from opdex.com. It's about 8:20 in the morning here, GMT +1, so that's 7:20 a.m. London time. What I'm going to do here today is I'm going to show you an extremely effective method I developed for trading 60-second binary cycles using the MetaTrader 4 platform and the custom-built Opdex tick chart indicator, which is available at www.opdex.com. So the MetaTrader 4 platform and the tick chart indicator are completely free, and you can find the detailed instructions of how to download and set them up on opdex.com, and I'll just leave the link in the details of the description of this video below. Now, this method virtually makes me money all the time. You aren't going to win every single trade, but what's important here is that you're going to have net profits. You have to have some experience with it, and you have to have patience, but you also got to know when to pull the trigger. And I'm going to go through the steps of confirmation and what you need to understand to successfully trade using this method. It's really important that traders have a strategy and a method when trading. If you develop a working strategy, then you have a surefire way of making money consistently. So like I said, what we're going to do is look at a method for giving strong prediction of price movement on, for example, the Euro US dollar using time-based candlestick charting and non-time-based candlestick tick charts. And I really recommend all traders, whether beginner or more advanced, to take a look at opdex.com. We have a whole section on candlestick charting and candlestick training, and it's really important to understand this fundamental. So I really recommend you to take a look at the site and read the information there. There's also several articles, especially on candlestick tick charts, and they go into depth what the tick chart is really telling you, and that's important for understanding this strategy that I'm about to show you. So now, as you can see, we're in the MetaTrader 4 platform, and on the top here we're looking at a 1-minute time candlestick chart, and here on the bottom, this is the custom Opdex tick chart indicator for MetaTrader 4. We're looking at the corresponding 133 tick chart for the Euro US dollar. And you can see here, since it's early in the morning, that there isn't much price movement going on here in the market. And that's because in general, even though forex markets are open 24 hours a day, there isn't much price movement because there isn't a lot of buying and selling pressure. And you can really see that by the lack of price fluctuation and the short candlesticks here. Now, my suggestion is not to trade during these time periods when trading binary options using this method, because what you're looking for with this method is solid price movement. Remember, in binary options, you're predicting whether the closing or opening price of your expiry is going to be higher or lower than when you purchased it. So you want to make sure that there's actual movement. Now, the secret here to this method is that we're going to use the 133 tick chart to confirm our trades. So let's get down to business. I'm going to talk briefly about the candlestick formation, and just so you understand what you're looking at, and then I'm going to talk about the actual strategy. So let's zoom in here so we can get some details. So again, the top graph is the time Euro USD chart, and the bottom graph is the 133 tick chart. Now, like I said before, I go into a lot of detail about the candlestick chart formation, and you can find that on the website. But let's just discuss candlestick formation basics really quickly here. Since we're looking at the 1-minute candlestick time chart, we're looking at the formation of candlesticks over the period of 1 minute. Makes sense, right? So if you take a look at this candle, for instance, right now, and this candlestick that's forming, the candle opened here at this point, and it's moving down here, and it looks like it's closing here at this point. And this is a white candle, and usually I like using red to show losing candles, but here in this instance I'm using a white candle. But the point is here is that this means that there was more selling pressure than buying pressure, and the opposite is true for hollow candlesticks. These candlesticks show that the asset opened low, it opened here, and it closed here. And what that means is over this time period there was more buying pressure, and we call this bullish. So like I said, this is bullish and this is a bearish candle. Now remember that over a time period, just because a candlestick was bearish or bullish, it doesn't mean that there wasn't both buying and selling transaction. There were both. But what determines the candlestick body color is what the overall sentiment was during that time period. So remember, trading digital assets is just like a real market. If more people are buying, then demand increases and the price goes up. If more people are selling, then this means that supply is higher and this drives the price down. So let's take a look here at the candlestick chart. So this is the 133 candlestick tick chart, and these candlestick formations are not time-based. So forget about the x-axis here. The y-axis is the same as on the regular time chart, meaning it's just the price of the asset. And it's really important not to get confused about this, because the speed of formation of the tick chart candlesticks don't match up here with these candlesticks in the time chart. The 133 tick charts are simply measuring the number of trades, meaning each time a trade goes through, it creates a tick, and until it reaches 133 trades, and at which point the candlestick formation is going to be complete and it goes on to the next candlestick. So here, these candlesticks, doesn't matter how many trades go through, it's just tracking the price over a 1 minute time period, and then it'll create a candlestick. Here, in this tick chart, it doesn't matter about how long it took. All it matters is how many trades have gone through, and it's tracking the price movement over that parameter. So now here's the real power for this strategy. When you combine the 133 tick chart data with the above time data, and you add an additional dimension to the graph, and you get an idea of both time and number of trades. And it takes a bit of practice, but once you get the hang of it, you can really become a power trader. So what do these candlesticks actually mean? In the time-based candlestick formation, the candlestick was tracking price movement, and here in this tick chart candlestick, it's tracking price movement by trades. So like I said, it adds a whole additional dimension to the asset that you're looking at. Keep in mind, the tick chart doesn't tell you exactly the volume of trading, but when you are watching it live, it gives you an idea of volume, because the speed of candlestick formation will tell you how many trades are being made. So if they're forming quickly, then there's a lot of movement in the asset. If candlesticks are forming slowly, then it means not a lot of trades are being put through. And this means that lower periods of volume are compressed graphically, while higher periods of volume are going to be expanded. Now, this is even adding a whole nother dimension to the asset that you're looking at. And it takes a lot of practice. Well, maybe not a lot of practice, but some practice. But like anything, when you get it, you'll get it, and it's extremely powerful way of looking at charting. Now, the 133 tick chart is pretty common for looking at the Euro US dollar, but for the trader can define these parameters when setting up the indicator. And again, there's instructions on opdex.com of exactly how to do that. So let me just sum up really quickly why you want to use the candlestick chart in combination with the tick chart in combination with the time chart. And it's pretty simple, actually. Tick charts are going to show you what the pros are doing by displaying how many actual trades are going through. And this is going to effectively filter out the amateur trading. Tick charts are going to infer volume when you watch them live, and they're going to allow for you to see trends forming more quickly. And they're going to allow you to see the confirmation of the trends. And I'm going to show you what I mean by that in just a second. And lastly, tick charts are going to compress low periods of activity and expand high periods of activity. And you're going to want to use this to your advantage when trading. So let's finally get down to the method itself. And I'm going to explain how we're going to use the tick chart indicator alongside the time candlestick chart. So what you're going to do is you're going to look for confirmation on the 133 tick chart for the 1 minute time chart. Now, what do I mean by confirmation? What you want to see is you're going to want to see 2 to 3 long candlesticks of the same color on the time chart that you see on the tick chart. For example, these longer candlesticks as opposed to these short, stubby candlesticks. and you're going to want to match it up with candlesticks, long candlesticks of the same color on the tick chart. So it's important to have long candlesticks because that represents high pressure, either buying or selling. And it doesn't matter because you're going to be placing a call or a put. So it doesn't matter if the price is going up or down. You're still going to be able to make money. Also, another unique function of the Optex tick chart indicator is that the tick chart output is shown here in the time chart window, and this is going to effectively show you the number of ticks created per candlestick and how fast these orders are coming in. So you're going to see it graphically coming here by the formation of the tick chart, but you're also going to see how many orders are actually coming through in real time with your broker. So oftentimes you have a lot of orders coming through, but the price isn't changing because buying and selling pressure is equal. But what you're going to be able to do here is you're going to be able to see the change in price and how fast the orders are coming through. So you want to look to see at how many orders are coming through. So a rapid change in number of ticks and simultaneously a large price fluctuation in both the time chart and the tick chart. So remember, the tick chart will confirm the trend in the time chart. Once you see that confirmation, you're going to begin putting orders in. And obviously, the number of orders you put through is up to you, and it's about the risk that you're taking. And the more orders you put through, the riskier the investment, but obviously the more reward the trade can be. So also what you're going to be able to do with this method is predict the break of a trend. Like, what I mean by break of a trend, I mean something along this lines. You have a decrease in the price. This isn't really a trend, but I'm just trying to graphically show you. You have a decrease in price, and then you're going to be able to see this upswing, so that you're going to be able to catch it also on the downswing and also on the upswing, because you're going to be able to make money on both sides, like we said, because you're trading binary options, and you could put either the call in or the put. So let's get down to the actual trading now that I explained the strategy, and I think it'll become much clearer when we're trading live. And we have our trading account here open with TradeRush, and we're going to be placing our trades here. Oh, and lastly, I just want to talk about a few trading tips. I think it'll be helpful for all traders, beginner or more advanced. And the first thing is that you got to be patient. Remember, when the money is in your pocket, you're still king. Don't make hasty decisions. You know, it could be minutes between trades or it could be hours, and you really have to be watching the market like a hawk here. And what I mean by that is that you only need to catch the price movement once every day. And the price movement of the euro-US dollar, for example, it drastically changes at least once a day. So there's plenty of opportunities to be able to catch this trend and use the tick chart indicator and the time chart in tandem to be able to make money off this trading strategy. But you got to be patient, and you have to be able to look for the signals. So let's say you're a new trader and you sign up for TradeRush and you make your first deposit. Make small trades at first. Don't get greedy. This strategy is super powerful when used correctly, but you have to know exactly when the right moment is to use it. And it's really easy to get carried away because when used correctly, this method works, but when used incorrectly, it doesn't work, obviously. So be patient and learn from your mistakes. Don't worry if you make mistakes in the beginning. Everyone makes mistakes. And since you're going to be making small trades in the beginning, you have to be able to look, you know, the risk is not going to be that bad. So make small trades, make the $5 investment in the beginning. Try to understand the strategy before you move on to bigger investments. You have to be able to look at your mistakes, though, and you have to be able to analyze them and ask what went wrong in the trading process and try to see how you can improve and if you could have improved or if it was something that you couldn't have predicted. Have a plan. And you have to have some sort of financial investment plan. And I talk about this with my 60-second binary method on the website. Let's say you have a great day trading and you meet your goals. You know, end the day. That's it. Take a break and come back to it tomorrow. The market is always open the next day. And remember, you're trading binary options, so it doesn't matter if the market is going up or down because you're going to make money on it both ways. And stick to the strategy. Oftentimes while we're trading, we want to see the pattern, even if it doesn't exist. And we get clever at some point. We say, hey, I can shortcut this. Don't do it. Stick to the plan. Stick to the strategy. If you're just experimenting, that's one thing. But if you're actually trading money, then stick to the program. There's an article titled 60-Second Binary Method on opdex.com. And I talk a lot about how to develop this financial strategy so that you have a lot of room to grow financially without going broke. And that's important, obviously. And the last point, which I want to emphasize, and what I love about this particular method, is that it cuts through all the BS of why the price is moving. And it really doesn't matter why the price is moving here. All that matters is that it is moving and you have confirmation and you're going to catch it. So don't get me wrong, for long-term trading, the why is super important. But for 60-second cycles, the market is moving too fast for you to be able to understand why. All you have to know is when and how it's going to move. So if we look at the charts, it's starting to pick up a little bit. So I'm going to get here to trading. And like I said, we have our trade brush platform open and ready for us to place our trades. So I'm going to pause the video now and we'll resume it when something is actually happening in the market. And we'll be back soon.